Welcome back, folks. Another episode of Honda Snowblower Enthusiast on Facebook and YouTube. Today I'm going to test this 928, which belongs to a member of the group and a subscriber to the channel. He brought it over for me to service this machine. It's about a 2000 928, 20 to 25 years old, going by the serial number. And what I want to show you people is what I did to it really quick, and the common issues that I see in most Hondas that come over to the shop here. This is a pretty good machine. The owner uses it on a deck, and it's a composite deck. It's a wood deck, a composite Trex type, composite Trex cover on the deck. So he wanted me to install some side skid shoes, which was it wasn't too hard. A little bit time consuming because it didn't have the holes, so I had to drill the holes, and then I had to take a file and square off the holes for the carriage bolts. But I'll talk about that later. The most common issue I see with these machines that come in is they're very dry. All the lubrication points are dry. Something that I'm always telling everybody is to keep everything that moves lubricated. Things dry out and it can cause issues. So I went through the whole machine top to bottom anyways in a service. So I had to do a lot of lubrication. It got a new plug. It got new synthetic oil. I checked the belts, checked the cables, all the adjustments and everything. Checked the augers, made sure that the augers spun without the shear pins in there. And then I sprayed some lubricant in the middle bolt. I took this middle bolt right out here and sprayed some lubricant in there. Okay, so the machine had to go through with the lubrication. And another thing that I really see most common is that the RPMs were low. The idle was fine. The idle was around 2140, where it should be. But the owner was saying that he wanted the machine to throw further, and he asking about an impeller kit. And I said, well, let's check out the machine first. He uses fluid film on the augers, the inside of the bucket, the inside of the chute. So that's a good thing you can do is to use the fluid film. It will keep it very slippery, and you'll be able to throw the snow farther. And another thing I wanted to check was that the augers were not bent. The belts were properly adjusted. The auger belt was properly adjusted. And the RPMs. Now this is where he's going to gain a lot of throwing power, because on this machine the RPMs was only 3,000 at the fast throttle. That's way too low. The specification for this machine is about 3,600 plus or minus 150. So you can go up to 37, maybe 3750, or 3450. But usually I set the machines around 3650. So that's what I did to this machine. I was able to adjust the fast throttle to 3650, and it should give him almost 20% more throwing power. So if he still wants an impeller kit, let's check it out this winter first. And if he's having problems with the clogging and not throwing far enough, maybe we can install an impeller kit in it. But I just don't throw impeller kits on any machine. First of all, we gotta check the usual suspects, as it were, the augers, the the belt tension, the RPMs, okay. So only other thing I found wrong with this was it was just minor stuff. I'm not sure when the last time it was serviced. I believe it was 5 years ago. So this machine doesn't get a lot of use, just on the deck and everything. So a lot of things were dry, and there was a little bit of rust and corrosion. I had a hard time taking off some of the bolts because they were kind of rusted on the threads and the corrosion and everything. The only other thing I found wrong is he didn't buy this machine brand new. It came with the house that he bought. The previous owner had replaced the spark plug incorrectly. It was cross-threaded a little bit near the end. I'm not sure how that happened, but I was able, the spark plug was hard to remove, and I put a new one in. It went in easily at first, and then it got harder and harder. So the threads in the head were slightly damaged. And we've got a video on that, on how to properly install a spark plug. I see that a lot with machines when people are changing their spark plugs. I always suggest that you take off the muffler so it's easy to access the spark plug, and start installing it by hand. That way it won't get cross-threaded. If you install it in the tool by hand, and it should go in easily. That tells you that you're doing it correctly. If you're having any problems, feeling resistance on getting the spark plug in there, then it's not going in there right. So you back it off and you start again and find the right angle to start your spark plug. But other than that, this is a pretty good machine. So let's start it up and see how it runs. Oh, I forgot. The choke. The choke was improperly adjusted. He was telling me that it was taking 6 or 7 pulls to start it in the wintertime. Was way too much for a Honda snowblower. If your machine's not starting on the first pull or second pull, then there's some kind of issue. I mean, the gas is not on, or the choke needs adjustment, which is exactly what this machine needed. I had to take off the top and everything, take off the elbow, and the choke plate wasn't closing as it should when the throttle is in the choke position. It's a very easy adjustment. We have a video on that in the channel. As a matter of fact, we've got over 200 videos in the Honda Snowblower channel that addresses almost everything that pertains to a Honda snowblower. So if you ever have a question, just type in the keywords on the channel and find the video that matches up, okay, folks? So I adjusted the choke, and it should start on the first pull. So let's try it. I'll start it up. I'll use the augers, and I will drive it back and forth a little bit so you can see what we did on this service. So the gas is off now, so I want to turn the gas on. I can't remember if I ran it dry, so I gotta wait a little bit. I gotta turn the key on. If I really wanted to, I could turn the key off and pull on the recoil just to build up some compression. A lot of people do this. It was recommended by the shop to do that, but most of the time I don't have to do that. I turn the key on. We'll put it in the choke position, okay? Because it's pretty cold this morning. That's the first time I started it up this morning. I put it in the release position to pull it out of the garage, and I just had to put it back in the engaged position to drive it. And as you can see, it started up on the first pull, completely cold engine, okay? And then the augers are nice and smooth. There's no clicking or weird noises. It drove back and forth nice and smoothly, no jerking, no clicks or anything. And if you notice on the front here, I'm not sure if you can see it, I installed those side skid shoes, and they're plastic. They're not plastic. They're, what do you call it? Polymer, composite skids. They're not metal, so you could use these safely on a wood deck or any kind of deck that you don't want to scratch up with your rear skids or the regular metal skid shoes. So that's what I recommend. If you're using your machine on wood decks or composite decks, then get some composite skid shoes, instead of the metal ones. So this will not mark up his wood deck. So that's a nice addition. This is a really nice machine. We live in the Lake Tahoe area. This machine would easily go for $2,000 today. Once the snow starts flying, if you wanted to sell it, you could probably get a little bit more. I know prices all over the world are a lot different. Like on the East Coast, this might go for $800 because they haven't had much snow in the eastern states of Canada and North America, so the prices are depressed right now. But out here, this is a very valuable machine. So I really appreciate you watching. If you think this video helped you, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I read all the comments, folks. I try to answer as much questions as possible. That's why I started the Facebook group. We've got over 6,000 members, and when you ask a question and I answer it, or one of our experts answers the question, we're helping 6,000 people instead of one-on-one. So I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.